back at the scene of the crime. I wonder when we're gonna go to Edgeworth Jr., Miles there. He's hardly a junior, but the younger of the Edgeworths. That plot got really interesting with Dover's body showing up in the fountain. I'm really curious to get back to that. Don't get me wrong, I'm still curious about this case, but I'd rather like to see that one. Oh! The point I was going to make when I was talking about my favorite Ace Attorney games, although this is Ace Investigations. Probably the reason the first one is my favorite is there's a bit at the end of that game where it reveals all of the cases up until that point have been connected and are sort of centered around this case that you're in right now. Maybe not all of the cases. There's one that's like back in time, and that one kinda doesn't work. That's more of just an origin for one of the characters. But all of the cases that are taking place at that time are just... it is absolutely connected and tied back to this moment. And I thought that was a really cool thing to do. This is a good game. I like this game. I like it more than some of the other... I'd put it somewhere in the middle, probably higher tier middle. I don't think... and I'm doing that not having finished it, keep in mind. I don't think they're going to be able to tie all of the cases back together like that. Because, I mean... the first two kind of worked. Political assassination attempt and killing of Rook. That guy was killed in prison, but so that the prison... he wasn't killed in prison as part of connection to the first case. He was killed in prison as part of an attempt to have an assassin who was controlling the prison be moved to a higher security facility. So... those two didn't really connect. They just had some of the same characters. And I know this one is like the flashback case for more, so we can see Edgeworth, but this one really doesn't seem like it's going to connect at all. Like, the previous one, in the previous game, the flashback case kinda sorta connected. It was a weak connection, but it was there. This one feels like there's no connection to the previous two cases at all, except for the characters. There's no Zhang Fa political assassination nonsense going on. There was a tiny bit in the second case. There's like none in this case so far. They might surprise me, but yeah, it does not feel like they're going to do that, which is a shame. I love that. Do you want to see me play the first game? I know how the game ends, and I know the answers to all of the cases. I don't remember, obviously, what evidence to present where, but let me know in the comments if you would like to see me play the first game. It'd be weird going back and playing the one that came before this. It won't have Shields. Von Karma isn't it, actually. It won't have Gregory. It won't have Courtney and Sebastian, but, yeah, just something to keep in mind. You want to see me play, in particular, the previous Miles Edgeworth game or other Ace Attorney games. I might make that a reoccurring thing on my channel. The only reason I recorded this one is because I wanted to play it, because it was the only one I hadn't played. But if you want to see more games like that in this series, then I'll gladly play them. I'll even play Apollo Justice if you want, even though I hate that one. That one's awful. Only for the last couple cases, though. The earlier cases are kind of eh. Later on, they get really dumb, I think. Anyways, enough of that soapbox, ramble, rant, whatever you want to call it. Von Karma, where's the body really found? If you really found the body, you should be able to answer.
You! How? How do you know this information? How did you know the results of the water composition test on the fountain?
I was there because I allowed them to investigate.
Bad. Always a thorn in my side. From here on out, I will not allow you to associate any further with this case.
I lost the Von Karma voice a bit. It's not like you were letting me do much anyways. Von Karma, you still haven't answered my question. Or are you admitting to the fact that you didn't find the body after all?
You say I never found the body. Where's your evidence?
He's never going to confess. Not without evidence, no.
I have nothing further to say to you. Gregory Edgeworth, this matter will be decided in court. We'll see just how well your logic holds up there.
Von Karma, I know your methods are wrong. I promise, without fail, I will expose the truth you've hidden. Will he? Oh, I thought I was going to jump forward in time again. Because apparently the case went unsolved. Or, at the very least, no one involved was arrested. Since they're all still faffing about. I think they said Master Jeff was still faffing about. Maybe who knows, maybe he was arrested. That would be unfortunate for the guy. Detective Bad, I'm sorry. It's because of me that it's because you let me investigate that. No, this was bound to happen sooner or later. This is also the first time I've been restricted in my investigation. Your theory that they never found the body sounds pretty close to the mark. That, I will make clear in court. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Even though I'm no longer in charge of this case. Weird that just a random prosecutor can decide that, you know? Maybe, like, the head prosecutor or the DA, but Von Karma isn't that. Ooh, I wonder if Gant is in charge of the police at this point. That would be something. I like Gant. He's, probably one of my favorite antagonists. Just because he's so much, he's so much fun to watch in action. Guy's really, he's also terrifying when he gets angry, and then pathetic when, he loses. Then, though I'm very sorry about this, I have one more favor to ask you. Kiss me, you fool. Hey, what are you guys whispering about? I want to know too! This will be my trump card in court. The information I've gathered up until now. Are we going to see the judge? I want the judge to be there. The judge is like the only character in every single game, except for Phoenix in the background or something. And the information I've gathered up until now should be enough to prove Mr. Master's innocence. But if all else fails, I'll have this ready. Your trump card? Heh. You'll see that at the trial. This doesn't strike me as a man who would lie and claim Yanni Yogi shot him to protect his son, you know? It seems like he would be very truthful. Well, maybe. He didn't do it to protect his son from the law or anything. He did it to protect the emotional scarring. But then again, that whole case is problematic. He was found not guilty because of reasons of insanity. And then that ruined his career. Somehow. No. It's not that it ruined his career. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity. This somehow ruined Mystic Mia's I think it's Mystic Mia. This somehow ruined Mystic Mia's career. That was nonsense, alright? It's like, oh, it's him. Yeah, not guilty because he was insane. Alright, but he still did it. She got it right. It was just because he was insane that he got off the hook. There was no, like, she didn't peg the wrong guy. She totally summoned a dude, and he was like, it was that guy. And for the longest time, everyone thought it was. And then he was found not guilty for extenuating circumstances, and they somehow held that against Mystic Mia. That's the stupidest thing. Not the stupidest thing in the entire series. It might be the stupidest thing in that game. That entire thing was nonsense. But that's a whole other argument. Wow! I get to be at the trial, too! Of course. You are my assistant, after all. Wow, the first guy to ever have an assistant that isn't a young girl. Heh, I'm gonna be an ace attorney, too, next year. Von Karma will never beat the two of us. Right. Although I hope to clear Mr. Master's name before you become a lawyer. If Von Karma is to be my opponent, he'll want the trial ended in a day. That's right. We have to save Master Jeff as fast as we can. After all, this is you we're talking about. I'm sure you'll beat Von Karma. Jeff Master, alone in a dark cell, arrested on false charges. I must expose Von Karma's lies if I am to save him. And now we go back to Miles, I think. Yeah, that's a clear transition back over to Miles. I will save the game. And again, not disparaging that, but I think this is the far more interesting case right now, because a dead body just kind of showed up in a fountain out of nowhere. And that's all Uncle Ray knows about the IS-7 incident. That's all? What? You kind of stopped in the middle there. So that's what happened in my father's last case. The truth of the IS-7 incident. What happened at the trial? Ah, God, after doing Von Karma's voice, I'm not sure if I can slip into K's so easily. In the end, Von Karma defeated us. Well, that's anticlimactic. Eh? So, you couldn't prove Mr. Master's innocence? So he was arrested then. Well, that fuck. We'd gathered plenty of evidence to prove it. But Von Karma was even more despicable than we thought. He was a prosecutor who would do anything for his guilty verdict. That's right, and here he did use any means necessary. Because of this, the trial dragged on for about a year, until it finally reached a conclusion. A year? I guess this was back before that 3-day system, huh? I'll never forget that fateful day when the judgment was passed down, the 28th of December. It's April now, so it's been a little over 17 years. Jesus, Master's been in jail for 17 years? How time flies. Probably not for him! The 28th of December, 17 years ago. I was watching from the gallery that day. Yep. This is the DL6, if I'm not mistaken. Poor guy. Ugh, that's kind of crappy. I guess I was wrong about seeing him out and free in this particular point in time. Before the trial, your old man noticed that Mr. Master was acting strangely. He was at the breaking point, both mentally and physically. It'd been a year. He wanted to be found guilty. No, Mr. Master didn't fake a confession, did he? Yeah, that was what Von Karma was aiming for from the start. When your old man tried to expose the fact that the body had not been found, Mr. Von Karma used the power of police cronies to quash that argument. He even went as far as to prepare a fake autopsy report. Then they made Mr. Master give false testimony and confess to being an accomplice. An accomplice to what? Wouldn't he be the perpetrator? With Master Master's confession, the situation quickly became dire. But your old man had a trump card up his sleeve. Was that the trump card he was talking to Detective Bad about? Yeah, that was the trump card, was to be our insurance in case Mr. Masters confessed. He asked Detective Bad to have Mr. Master's interrogation recorded. Detective Bad wanted to know the truth too, huh? Yeah, that's right, Kay knows Bad. After he was dropped from the investigation, he never stopped caring about the case. Even when he was involved with other large cases, he really was the definition of a true detective. I believe he retired, quit, I can't remember what happened to him. Nice, I like that. Little suit going. The defense presented the recording, which proved the confession was forced. Well, it seemed the detective in charge of the initial investigation and the interrogation. Rip Lancer. Lasser. Rip Lasser? Lacker? I'm gonna just say Lasser. Rip Lasser took all the blame and was charged and dismissed. Still, at the trial, your old man exposed Von Karma's corruption, and Von Karma received his first penalty from the chief prosecutor, the then chief prosecutor. The only penalty in his 40 years of prosecution. However, Mr. Master didn't want the trial to continue any longer, and the curtains closed on the trial that day with the verdict of guilty. Poor guy, Jesus. My memory of that time is fuzzy, but I was also there watching my father's final trial. And I think his final regret became my own. The old man wanted a retrial and prove Mr. Master's innocence, but he passed on before he was murdered, alright? There's a difference. Before he could fulfill his wish. After getting entangled in another case. It breaks my heart even now that I didn't return home with him that day. But that would require a lot of retconning, you know. And what's more, to blind myself from my own worthiness. Uncle Ray put all of his hatred on you as a traitor for being Von Karma's pupil. Well, quite. He's doing the thing Edgeworth does. Although his hair looks kind of dumb without the hat, if you ask me. I'm sorry. Don't be. It's natural you would hate me. After I became a prosecutor, I was able to get Von Karma to show me the case file. Mr. Master was found guilty for the murder of Isaac Dover. That's not right. Wasn't Mr. Master found guilty of being an accomplice? But this case file says guilty of murder. There shouldn't be anything unresolved, and that case is handled by Manfred Von Karma. Wait, can I take a look at that file? It looks like the charges have been rewritten. What? Look at this. Jet Master 39 created for contest victim body found inside his room and sculptures later the rest of the day. Hypogeusia. Demonstrated by Menace. After his own confession, he was convicted as an accomplice to the murder. The charge is accomplice to murder? This is a copy of the original case file I received from the courts. Why would the charge be altered? This file was given to you by Von Karma, right? Maybe he just didn't want you to know the truth, since you were Gregory's son. He would have wanted to avoid another retrial before the statute of limitations ran out, after all. I don't know if that's a thing, but I don't know if that isn't a thing, so I can't comment. So what I had come to believe back then had all been a lie. Gee, shocker. The man who killed your father lied to you. If you didn't know about it, just make sure you know about it from now on. The statute of limitations has long expired, but the truth still sleeps right here. Well, in that case, Jeff's fucked, isn't he? After your old man passed away, Uncle Ray took over as Mr. Master's defense attorney. Although Von Karma also had another prosecutor take over the case. Perhaps he thought that since his opponent was a rookie, he didn't even need to turn up. In the end, the real killer was never found, and Mr. Master was found guilty. No! Is there nothing we can do, even now? Since the killer was never found, he can't withdraw his confession. I found out after the trial that Mr. Master made a deal with Von Karma because Von Karma had threatened him. Oh god.
If you don't confess, Catherine Hall will be held under the same charges. Yarg!
That's terrible. Well, funny that. I don't think Mr. Master really thought that Kate was the killer, but to protect her, he faked a confession. Miles, on the day that Knightley Boy was killed, why do you think Uncle Ray was at the prison? Weren't you the defense attorney for the guy? Ah, I see. You went to see Mr. Master, didn't you? I said I'd visit him every day. I couldn't keep that promise, but I asked Katie Pie to look in on him for me when I couldn't. Through rain or snow she went. Every single day without fail. That's a lot for, what, 17 years I think we said? But nothing has changed, and Mr. Master still serves his punishment. That's so sad. Isn't there anything we can do? That's why I came here. Because I knew those ice sculptures would be on display here today. So what are you going to do, Miles? I wonder if Franziska's in this game. I am a prosecutor, my position is different from you and my father. Miles. But, moving past my position, what I want as Miles Edgeworth is to know the truth of these two cases. It is for that reason that I am here. You really are their father's son. Well then, if that's what you've decided, I'll support you all the way. I'd better leave the IS-7 documents and evidence with you then. Alright, there are some documents. By the way, the part in orange are Uncle Ray's old notes. You didn't eat those? Now let's take a look at those. Thank you. Time of death, blah blah blah. And rock salt lamp, man for a defense attorney, 18 years ago, okay. So 2000, yeah, so early 2000. Exactly 2000. Statute of limitations ran out on Christmas Eve 3 years ago. There's nothing we can do about it then. Victor found in jail, dying. Okay, we were all over that. Isaac Dover, true identity, famous French sculptor Pierre Hoquet, entered contest as a cake designer. His body was found in the defendant's room. This is some rad music for just reading a paper. The cause of death, blunt trauma to the head. Because the victim's body vanished, there appears to be no autopsy report. Is that the true reason? They only added 2 things, but yeah. Alright. Thank you. And now here's the OS7 evidence. There's a lot, so make sure you look over it while you investigate. Received a lot of eyes. Oh god, I have all that stuff. Alright, I'll check through it later. Fuck you, I'm checking through it now. Yep, god, I have everything. Wait, no, I only have these 4 things. So we didn't keep the fake desserts, or... Maybe we kept the photos? No, we did not keep the photos. The one thing... Hey! Hold the phone! That's a rock salt lamp in that photo. I find that a little suspect. There's the rock salt lamp. Obviously, he wasn't able to hold on to it. We're able to talk about the recipe book, the fingerprints, and he kept the photo for some reason, even though I feel like he should have given that to Gustavia. But whatever.
Anyway, there's so many strange things about this case.
Indeed. Those involved in the case 18 years ago have reunited.
Yeah, reunited.
And another incident occurs. Replicas of statues from 18 years ago were displayed in the Winter Palace, and poison gas was released in the Autumn Palace, which had been disguised as the Winter Palace. The 2 chemicals in the Pisces cases, normalium and fatalium, were mixed, causing an outbreak of poison gas. Victim of the poison gas was Dame Gustavia, a person involved in the...
Ugh. For whatever reason, I'm not tired, but when I do those voices, I have to yawn.
Victim of poison gas was Dame Gustavia, a person involved in the IS-7 incident. Because he was unconscious, he received treatment in the Zodiac Art Gallery Infirmary. Or ZAG. Finally, the dead body found floating in the fountain.
Yes, get back to that, please, because sure looks like from behind it could be you-know-who, somehow after 18 years.
And once again, the ice sculptures have melted. There are deep connections between the 2 cases. It's possible there are still some clues left from 18 years ago,
I suppose.
Right, let's get started.
Ugh, Sebastian. Ooh, just 1 second. Don't tell me you've forgotten about me. Didn't I tell you that I'm the one in charge of this case?
Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you intend to continue disrupting Sebastian's investigation...
Had to spell it out, eh?
The word guilty will be added to your PIC report.
What does she mean, guilty? Please allow me to insist in the investigation as before.
I appreciate your proposal, but I'm afraid I must overrule it. That was fast. Even though we're short on hands to identify the victim right now. It's only a matter of time until we figure it out.
In that case, I shall take that load off your shoulders at once. Regarding the identity of the unidentified body, 1 person comes to mind.
Really? Then tell us.
Humph. Very well. It's not just the sculptures that have made a comeback from the incident 18 years ago. The body in the fountain is...
Ah, I was hoping I could name myself as the body. Sure looks like... Oh, poor guy. 50s. Oh, God. Got wrinkles. Still has the afro, though. 18 years ago. Fucking Sebastian and what's-her-face weren't even alive. Kay. 18 years ago. Edgeworth was... not here, but Butts was 4. No, he wasn't 4. He was 8. So, yeah, okay. That's about right for probably Edgeworth. My Francis Graham School claims to be an artist. 34, yeah. Unknown, but 18 years older than 18 years ago. I think that's fair to say. He was 36, 38, no. Yeah, 36. He was 36. Young and vibrant. He was... 16? No. 14. He was 14. I wonder what Gumshoe was doing at 14. That's an interesting theory. She was also... No. She's the same age as Larry? What? Yeah, she's the same age as Larry. Huh. So she was 8 as well. She's young for being so up her butt about everything. Like, come on, Courtney. Ease up.
It also seems like the male judge isn't going to be in this game. Ah! That means only Phoenix appears in every single game. Damn him!
And even in the Edgeworth games, he's just a background cameo. What a shame. I wanted the judge to be in this game. Maybe he still will be. There's always a chance, you know? He wasn't born. And he's dead. Okay. Oh, right.
Take that! It's likely the identity of the victim, the murder that occurred 18 years ago.
That's going to be it for this episode because I went a little long. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tokenlad. Talk to you later. Shooting a show. See you around Ask Clowns.